hoods on.
And this time,
his eyes.
we will
Literal
find tea
hoods.
in his grotto.
It looked like felt hubcaps. And they
Where he
come
likes
down
to
over
go
his
in.
eyes, and, you know, he saves the price of a sleep mask every night. Not only
Oh,
the
look at
price,
him.
but
Really?
the efficiency of
This
all
is
of
like
his parts is
something that could be happening
commendable.
a billion years ago.
And the
Jesus,
scientists,
it's
Karen, said that
Prehistoric
they
in a way
survived
that the
because
moderns
they had
have
no
attempted to
natural
be.
enemies. And then I said,
And
but
have
does the
failed
extraordinary
because they're too
beauty of these
stylized.
creatures have anything to do with their survival? And
T
she said, of course it does.
stops
And then, of course, I was thinking about the idea
and
of
starts
prehistoric
when
animals
he
and
has
aesthetics.
specific instinctual / possibly somewhat
16 wedges there. I wanted one of the
urge
poems
to
to be 16 wedges why I
do
love
something.
you.
And why they
To the
sold
tune
those
of
fish
Connie
this
Stevens
size
song. 16
reflects
reasons
the
why I love
horrible
you.
turtles that they had that came to the glass and
I
actually
really didn't
started
feel
to
inspired
bite
to do the
at the
16
glass
wedges.
where I was
But I
taking these
think I got
pictures.
a poem in 16
Where from
parts.
everything I know from my experience with him,
Yeah.
oh
Would
man,
be better.
he looks like Jaws rising up here.
I didn't really try.
Look at him. Really, if we blew it up, we'd have a tremendous battle. A 50s movie.
Connie Stevens.
And it could be silent, too, to stress the
acted
silence
as a
of
film
turtle,
director now.
who, as you know, is so often mistaken in the Bible, of all places, by the translator, who said that it's by the turtle's song that we know that spring is here. When I first heard it, I didn't think about it. I didn't think twice about it. And then I thought, what kind of song do they mean? Are there some that make noise? D.H. Lawrence's tortoises shout and make all kinds of ejaculatory exclamations. T is the active intelligence.
Because you see, he's treating this partly as his adventure. And it's only thanks to my having met the scientist Karen Pryor, who works with animals, owns her own lab in Massachusetts, where they study animals. And she recently has written a book and went on one of the daytime TV shows and took her clicker with her because she has a little bit of a Skinnerian attitude toward training animals of this kind, the really wild animals or the reptiles. But typically for me, I didn't do the clicker. I felt too close to the Luftwaffe. And when they describe violence and mayhem in recent movies, just think how ridiculous it is compared to the violence and mayhem in a fish tank in the house of an American citizen. Hey, you're doing pretty good. Here he comes. You're doing very well. Really. How can it be? Look at the colors. I really, in some way, think that they are innumerable because there are so many shades. This must be really fun for him because nobody's been around the last week or so to really play with him at all. And I've tried to change the obstruction to spending time around him, because he is so interactive and understands so well what it is that you mean, not by what you say or by what you do, but by the energy that he feels coming off you. To me, he's the beautiful synthesis of beauty and the absurd. My son, who took T.N. as a favor to a friend for 2 weeks and had ended up keeping him and wanted to get rid of him. Wow, T, good going. Of course, he's so pleased with himself for doing this. I have a strange feeling he might be hungry. I'm the only one within any proximity of him. Once Sam got rid of him from his room, and I started to describe some of the things that he did and experiences. He would say, "Do you know how many times I've heard him do that?" Meaning jump off the rock the moment he came in the room. Plop. Well, he doesn't do that anymore. In fact, he's becoming pretty good hunter. Wow, look at that circle. T, see, we don't often see this. And I've tried to convince the other two people and residents in this apartment, my other two roommates, my wife and my son, two of my other roommates out of three, that we should set this tank up in a place where I don't have to be kneeling on my knees to do this.